Hi everybody, welcome to the video. Today we're going to be focusing again on a subassembly from our landing gear. Today's focus is subassembly 1. So we're going to see how we can get these components configured in a mechanism such that we can activate the movement of the shock absorber that would be built into this component. Let's head on over and have a look how we can do it. Okay guys, before we head over to Creo, let's just have a quick review of the engineering drawing and the assembly. Okay, so using the components that you've modeled, you're going to put them together into this lower frame assembly. Now it is going to have a mechanism in it. So in the real world, there'd be some kind of shock absorber in here, so spring and mass damper, in order to take some of the impact on landing. However, we're not going to put that kind of detail in, but we can make it so that it moves as it would. So this section at the bottom is going to be able to move in here, and the other components should comply with that mechanism as well. Okay, so the order in which we put it together will be important, and we just need to make sure we get these constraints, set up correctly when we put in our slider mechanism. Okay, so let's head over to Creo and have a look at how we can do it. Let's close the resource center. Let's set our working directory and start a new assembly file again. Okay, so this is going to be sub_asm_1. I'm going to untick the default template, click OK, and then we're going to scroll down and find the design units that we need. Okay, so the first component we want to bring in is going to be the strut. Okay, we're going to use that as the foundation for building up our larger model. So I'm going to go assemble, and let's go to view, thumbnails, and you want the strut. So that's the NGD006. Open. And for this, we're just going to position it with the default. So get it, all the coordinate systems are lined up and ready to go. Okay. So we've got our first component in. The next component we need to bring in is our ring component. So the ring attaches to the end of this strut. So we're going to go assemble and bring in the ring. So this is the NGD003. Now we need to start using some constraints. So the first thing I want to do is align this with this. See, it's select normal, but I want it to be coincident. So we can just use the arrows to move this around. What else shall we do? Let's do this. So let's do this plane with this plane. That's coincident. Then we need one final constraint. We're going to say this face is touching this face here and make that coincident. Okay. You can see that's fully constrained now and locked in position. So the next part we're going to bring in is going to be the lower struts, and this is going to be where we're going to generate our movement. Okay, so we need to use a mechanism for this part. So we can go assemble, strut, open, and let's move this so that it's roughly whereabouts where we want it to be. Okay. So let's go to the predefined, and we're going to use a slider here. So this is going to be able to slide in and out of this, the hole just there. So the first thing, axis alignment. So we've got this axis aligned with this axis, and then we need to set our rotation. So let's have it so that this and this are aligned. Okay, so now we're just allowing this kind of movement at the moment. We know that it can only move 20 millimeters, so there's 20 millimeter travel once it's in there. So let's add this in. So I'm going to put a face there, and then I need to try and get this face in here. Yeah, that face. So at the moment, they're quite far apart from each other. You can see that it's saying minus. So if I change that to 20, it actually goes inside the component. So the direction is actually flipped the other way. We can flip it round, maybe. No, it doesn't let you. Okay. So we're going to have to say that minus 20 is our minimum position. Okay. And 0 is our maximum position. So maximum limit will be 0 in this case, and the minimum will be minus 20. Okay. It may change depending on what you're doing. Okay, like if you depending on how you've modeled it, it might be slightly different. So you just be mindful of how this all fits together. Okay, so that's perfect. I'm going to click OK. And now what we should find is if I drag this component there, and it doesn't allow it to come all the way out. So we've got the travel that's specified on the drawing. Okay. Click regenerate. Just make sure it's back in its original position. Okay, so now we need to start adding the links. Okay, so we've got an upper link and lower link. So they attach here. So we want to attach here, one attaches here, and then they attach together. So we just need to be a little bit careful when we do this. But we're going to assemble. Let's go with the upper link first. So that's ENGD004. Click open. And we're going to have to obviously manually attach this. So the first thing we're going to do is attach this to this axis. So they should be coincident with each other. Yeah, that's good. And then we're going to say that this is attached to this face. Okay, so that's going to be coincident with each other. That's good. Now, you see at the moment what it's done is it's got allow assumptions. So it thinks it's fixed in this position, but we need this to be able to move. So I'm going to untick allow assumptions and then just rotate it up here out the way for a second. Okay, so it's only partially constrained, but we need it to be able to rotate like that. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. Click OK. Then we go to assemble again. Now we need the lower link. Click open. And obviously we need to attach that to this bottom section here. So let's just move it. It's a bit all over the place at the moment. What way round do we want it? So it needs to be that way, and then it's going to go like that. Okay. So we'll link this axis with this. Coincident, that's good. This face with this face. Okay, it's put a distance in there. We want that to be coincident. All right. That's good. So this is where the magic happens. Now we need to go new constraint, and we need to link this axis to this axis here. Okay, and you can see it's moved because that component's not fully fixed. It allowed it to snap to it, and so we've got these two components now aligned. Obviously, in real life there'd be fasteners and things that go through this, but we're not going to model those now. Click OK. And now we should have a nice moving assembly. So if I click drag, click on one of these components, you can see those two components now accommodate the movement of the strut. Okay, so that's perfect. Okay, click close. And that's it. So we can click save. Okay, now we've got our subassembly. Okay, we've got a regeneration issue again. Click regenerate and just save. So if that regeneration issue comes up, just click save. Click regenerate, sorry. Okay, so that's it. That's our subassembly from our own components. So it should be working nicely, and it's ready to now bring into the full assembly when we decide to do that. That's it. Thanks, guys.